Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, I am going to start with potentially a little bit of bad news. It's not very bad news, but at the same time, it's not great. I'm certainly a little disappointed. So taking a look over here into the southwest, it's hard to tell with so much light pollution exactly what I'm looking for. So I'll very quickly bring up the lines of the constellations. Yeah, there we go. Looking into almost the west, up above the comet. Over here is the shape of Corona Borealis, where we were expecting to see a supernova, well, last month. For a long time, the dimming of a particular star in the constellation Corona Borealis indicated that that star was going to go supernova or nova, a type of recurrent nova where the star regularly brightens up, increases in brightness, and then fades away again. We'll push out to the countryside, which will make things a lot easier to see. Corona Borealis is one of the fainter constellations. It's not incredibly faint. As soon as we're in the countryside, we can definitely see the tail there on Comet A3. That's fantastic. But we can also see that curved shape. That's Corona Borealis. If we bring up the lines of the constellations, we can see it nice and clearly. One way to find Corona Borealis, if you find Vega in the summer triangle, Arcturus down here. If you are struggling to find Arcturus, then you find the plough or the Big Dipper. The handle of the plough will arc to Arcturus. Between Arcturus and Vega, let's zoom out a little bit here. There's Arcturus, there's Vega, make a line between them. Not exactly in the middle, but the brightest star close to the middle of that line, that's the brightest star in Corona Borealis. Once you've found that shape of Corona Borealis, we'll get rid of the lines that were helping us. We'll take a look in here. So we've got the brightest star in Corona Borealis, Alphecca. We can see it makes this kind of loop with the brighter star over here. We're looking around here. It's very difficult to find this particular star, the Blaze star, if you're just using your naked eye, when it's not blazing. Of course, that's the same star again, isn't it? Yeah. So the Blaze star, as it's called, is only particularly bright when it's blazing. So let's see if I can find it here with that common name, with the name of Blaze star. It does, of course, have a more technical name. There we go, the Blaze star. There we go. So I wasn't miles away. I wasn't incredibly far off. That's the Blaze star. It's a double star, cataclysmic variable star. So this star goes supernova regularly. It's roughly every 80 years. But it was predicted that that 80-year thing was going to be up. It's not exactly 80 years, so I think it was closer to 78 or 75 would have been this September. But because of the dimming of the star's dimming was thought to be a cloud of material building up around the explosive little star from its companion. And once enough of that extra material builds up, there's enough pressure for fusion to reoccur, and you get this explosive fusion reaction. So we can see where it is, where it should be. I'll get rid of the lines again. And this, just in there, yeah, just in there, that is still a star that's going to go nova. It goes nova regularly. It hasn't gone nova yet. It will go nova in the near future. We're just not exactly sure when. We know it's coming up, but it's difficult to predict these things. Some things can be tricky to predict. And novas, especially when they only occur occasionally, they can be tricky. Predicting comets can be tricky as well. So I alluded to this. I don't know if I was necessarily explicit enough when I alluded to it, but I did allude to the other comet that we're seeing at the moment. So let's head around to morning time. I know that the Comet 2024 S1 Atlas isn't particularly easy to see from Ireland. Let's go through a little bit of time here. No, that's A3 because we're going backwards. We need to go forwards and get the sun nice and close to the horizon. We may not be able to see it from here. And I did go over this comet in a lot of detail in a previous video, but just to briefly cover one of the interesting things about it again, the Comet S1 is going to get incredibly close to the sun as it passes by. It doesn't seem to be coming up for me at all, but I know that it is coming around the sun in October. Oh, there we go. Just looking incredibly faint. So we're looking into the future here. That comet is making its closest approach to the sun in the near future. And for sun grazer comets, if they get too close to the sun, sometimes they blow up. So we are predicting this incredibly bright comet here as it comes close to the sun, and then, even a day or two later, it could still be quite visible in the sky. But it may also break up. It may completely fall apart as it gets around the sun. So not going to be really visible from here in Ireland anyway, but after its closest approach to the sun, or even a little before its closest approach to the sun, that comet may be no more. It may simply fall apart. And that is one of the things that's difficult to predict in astronomy. Our understanding of comets is still quite minimal. We only know so much about them because we normally only get to see them from reasonably far away. We have now, thanks to the European Space Agency Rosetta mission, we have now landed on a comet. Samples have been taken from the tails of comets, and we can see Comet 2023 A3's tail there. But just looking at a comet, it's difficult to tell its composition, and it's difficult to tell how solid it is. You very rarely see comets orbiting around you very rarely see comets with moons or other objects orbiting around them. So figuring out their exact density can be difficult. Looser comets can be ripped apart by the sun a little bit easier. So this comet's already come around the sun, so we know it's okay. Comet S1, we're not so sure. And this star, Corona Borealis, Nova Corona Borealis, the blaze star, it will go supernova in the near future. We're just not exactly sure when. We were quite confident, or at least some astronomers were quite confident, that it was going to go supernova, and they had a good reason. It was after dimming in that way that it had done the last time it went nova. I am going to keep hopping back and forth between saying nova and supernova, just because supernova is kind of the normal parlance, but there is different types of nova and supernova. So here we go. We can definitely see Alphecca with our naked eye, and zooming back, yeah, closer to Arcturus, not exactly halfway, but it is the brighter star, a little bit closer to Arcturus than Vega, but it is on that line. Once you spot Alphecca, which isn't incredibly hard to see, even in the city, you might notice a couple of the other stars around it that map out for Corona Borealis. And we're just looking at this kind of left-hand arc of it there on the eastern side of the constellation, just over here. We should get to see a star in the near future, so do keep an eye on it. Just because the supernova didn't happen when we predicted, or just because it looks like it's less likely to happen, we could be wrong again, the same way that we were wrong saying that this star was going to go nova in September. It was incorrect. It didn't happen. We're still waiting for it. So just because it now looks like it's probably not going to happen for another couple of months, it could still happen tomorrow. In truth, we still don't really know. And that is an important thing about astronomy. Sometimes we just don't know. There are things that are difficult to predict. We occasionally get surprised by stuff. And speaking of surprises, we do have a couple of meteor showers coming up in October. We can see a few of them there. The Orionids are generally quite good, but it is hard to predict exactly how nice they're going to be, and it's tough to predict the weather for you to easily see them. So we can see as we go through a few dates here, even earlier in October, we had a few of those meteor showers going on, and then moving later in October, we've got a couple of different ones popping up. So we can see the Orionids are there for quite a while. With a potential maximum of 20, that's really not too bad. We'll come back a little bit, so we're still in October. Of course, very close to the night of the full moon, so that is going to interfere with our ability to see things in the sky. The Leonids coming up next month are often a very impressive shower, and they can be among the most impressive, but it doesn't look like the Leonids this year are going to be crazy like they were in the 1800s with thousands of meteors in the sky. But, as I said, it is important to remember in astronomy that sometimes we don't know, and predicting things like comets, meteor showers, and novae, these are some of the things where sometimes we're only guessing. We can be confident with a 95% confidence interval, and there's still that 5% where something could go wrong, or something, some mistake could have been made. So hopefully we'll get a supernova very soon. Hopefully the Orionids are going to be great, and the Leonids will be fantastic, and hopefully Comet 2024 S1 will come around the sun in one piece and give people a chance to see it. Hopefully all of those things will happen. Hopefully you will like this video if you enjoyed it, and hopefully you will subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. You can also head to my website, crevienscontent.ie, to read some of this information, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.